Should Have Been Jimmy Savannah from Coffee House Press in 2012, and memoir in verse tracks the second wave of the Great Migration. Smith's book, Tea House of the Almighty, also from Coffee House in 2006, was the National Poetry Series selection and winner of the first ever Hurston Wright Award in Poetry. Smith is the winner of the Chautauqua Literary Journal Award in Poetry and a Pushcart Prize for the poem The Way Pilots Walk. And I want to say about Patricia Smith, whose work I've loved and admired for a long time, is that she makes the characters and the people in her poems come alive in a way that is so exceptional and so unique. You won't forget the characters in her poems. You won't forget the stories she tells, and the stories she tells are necessary for all of us. Let's welcome her first.
Thank you very much, Maria. In the chaos that is Dodge, I did not have the opportunity to really hear Richard's work, so I'm thrilled, really honored that we're here together, and it was so great to sit down and get to know you. Wonderful. How's everyone doing? Good. That's good. Speaking of the workshop that we just had, I wanted to dedicate the reading to the workshop participants who just unflinchingly went to a really difficult place for most of them and didn't hesitate to write and share their stories. So there's a theme for this reading. I guess it would be secret. Yeah, secret. The name of this book Should Have Been Jimmy Savannah. And so a lot of it is about my parents before they came up. Started with them still in the South before the Great Migration, when they came up to Chicago, and the book is then centered on what it's like to be first generation up north. But my mother, after I was an adult, my mother pulled me aside. She said, "I have a funny story for you." I said, "What is it?" She said, "Your father, when you were born, wanted to name you Jimmy Savannah." And I almost strangled her. I said, "And you talked about it, didn't you? Isn't it such a cool poet name, right?" She went for the extremely lyrical Patricia Ann. Thanks, Mom. So this is called Should Have Been Jimmy Savannah, title called. My mother scraped the name Patricia Ann from the ruins of her discarded Delta, thinking it would offer me shield and shelter that leering men would skulk away at the slap of it. Her hands on the hips of Alabama, she went for flat and functional, then siphoned each syllable of drama, repeatedly crushing it with her broad, practical tongue until it sounded like an instruction to God and not a name. She wanted a child with pressed head and knocking knees, a trip up in the double Dutch swing, a starched pinafore and peppermint in the sour pickle kind of child, stiff-laced and unshakably fixed on salvation. Her Patricia Ann would never idly throat the Lord's name or wear one of those thin, sparkled skirts that flirted with her knees. She'd be a nurse or a third-grade teacher or a postal drone, jobs requiring alarm clock discipline and sensible shoes. My four-down beats were music enough for a vapid life of butcher shop sawdust and fatback as cuisine, for raids spritzed into the writhing pockets of a Murphy bed. No crinkled consonant or muted hiss would summon me. My daddy detested words. One look at my mother's watery belly, and he insisted as much as he could insist with her on the name Jimmy Savannah, seeking to bless me with the blues-bathed moniker of a ball breaker, the name of a grown gal in a snug red dress with unlaced all-stars. He wanted to shoot music through whatever I was called, arm each syllable with tiny weapons so no one would mistake me for anything other than a tricky whisperer with a switchblade in my shoe. I was bound to be all legs, a bladed debutante hooked on Lucky Strikes and sugar. When I sent up prayers, God's boy would giggle and consider. Daddy didn't want me to be anybody's surefire factory, nobody's callback or seized rhythm, so he conjured a name so odd and hot even a boy could claim it. And yet, He was prepared for the look my mother gave him when he first mouthed his choice, the look that said, "That's it, you done lost your goddamn mind." She did that thing she does, where she grows 2 full inches with righteous, and he decided to just whisper, "Love you, Jimmy Savannah," when we were alone, rechristening me the seed of Otis, conjuring his own religion and naming it me.